right, we're finally talking about this movie way too late, but at the same time...
Way too late. It's still in theaters. Is
it really?
Thing. There's minimal showings. It's on its way out, just like your headband. But it is still seeing some showings. There's still theaters in New York that are showing this movie. It's gotten a 3 to 4 week almost theater run, and given some of the marketing, some of the backlash, some of the things that go on, which we'll dive into a little bit here, I didn't expect this movie to be in theaters as long as it was, or to do as good as well as it has. Talking about the drama. Have to give it a little dramatic flair if we're going to be doing that.
By the way, I'm so upset with myself that I forgot to take off my headband. But I'm just going to roll with it.
That was a really... so cinematically, it's fine. You did good.
No, but so I really want to talk about because I immediately went up to you after watching this, and I said, okay, this is the biggest surprise I've ever had watching a movie, because this marketing for this movie was... I thought it was going to be like Marriage Story. I really did. I thought it was going to be like Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, where it was just kind of, but more chaotic. That's what I got the vibe of it. And I was going up to you being like, oh, I can't wait to see this. Finally, something different from horror, because we've been watching a lot of horror stuff lately. And I was like, okay, this is going to be the type of movie that probably like I like, because I also like these, like, I don't know, like dramatic, like relationship movies, I guess you'd say. And this was that and even more, but just the storyline of it, like, just threw me off completely, and it almost became like a thriller. And I was like, my heart was I don't think there will ever be a movie this year that will have my heart racing as much as this movie did the whole entire time.
Yeah, it was definitely something, because you saw it like 2.5 weeks before I did.
Yeah.
Because you ended up going on vacation. I ended up getting sick. There was a lot of stuff that happened in between then. But you came up to me and you were like, you have to see it, but I'm not going to tell you what happened. I kind of remember looking at you going like, I already looked up what happened.
Yeah.
Because it made headlines.
Everybody was talking about it. It was the talk of the town on every single podcast, on every single news channel. It was insane.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert. Of course, if you've been here for the past 2 years, you know.
Yes, we can't keep spoilers.
We're not.
I think it's impossible for me to, but like it might as well.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. The biggest storyline / twist in this movie is that Zendaya's character Emma, when she was in high school, planned and almost executed a school shooting, which she divulges at a wine tasting 3 days before her wedding, while they're playing a game, while they're drinking, about the worst things everybody's done in their entire lives.
I hated that conversation too.
It was so extremely uncomfortable, and the fact that they filmed it with no music, no backtrack, no ambient noise, just
echo, like everything.
Echo.
In an empty room.
In an empty room, and the whole theater was silent while it was happening, and I was like,
what?
Okay.
That's it. Yes, that's the... And I just go, wait, what? And then, I mean, first of all, Rachel, like, her story was, like, already, like, just as... Not like was terrible.
Right.
But
we're
then,
not going to go on morality here, but like she locked a person in a closet.
Yes, forgot about them, left them for 24 hours, like was on a search party, and then she had no remorse for it at all.
Right.
And she was like trying to justify it.
Right.
But then it just escalated like that much more, and when Zendaya like tells her truth, and I just the awkwardness, the shock factor of it, and even in the first 20 minutes, I was kind of like, what is this movie, like, going on about? But then right when that happens, I immediately was like, the tables turned.
Well, right, because for the first 30 minutes of the movie, it kind of just seems like a love story. You get to see their awkward introduction, how they met, they're writing their wedding vows, they're doing wedding planning, they seem really happy, and you're going like, this is a movie called The Drama. Where is the drama? I mean, Pattinson's a little awkward as a character, but, you know, that's fine because he plays an awkward character pretty well. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, it fits him well. And she's, you know, a little quirky, but, you know, it fits her well, too. And so that's fine. And their friends are a little strange, but they're fine. And then that happens. And the whole movie kind of just blows up.
Yeah. And
Everything falls apart from there on. The one thing that I did mention to you that I still think is the biggest blunder for A24 in this movie is that it needed a little bit of a warning label.
yes, oh my God, 100%.
And we talked about this in the office because we were talking about potentially not doing a review for it because of the content in it. And while we were talking about it, my point is people are going to see this movie
Thinking
it's just the kind of movie that you thought it was.
Yeah.
And to be fair, so did I.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Pattinson, Zendaya, a little romantic dramedy.
It was literally just a trailer of them kind of like, it was like there was a shift in their relationship, you know,
Right,
just
and-
great acting. Like, it was like a 30-second shot of them like taking their wedding photos, but they're not smiling with each other.
Right, and Pattinson's in 17 movies this year. He's one of the, he is the most sought after actor right now in film.
Yeah.
He's working more than anybody, whether as a director, a producer, an actor, and you go, if he's in a project, it's got to be good. Zendaya might be the most sought-after female actor outside of Emma Stone right now.
And Anne Hathaway.
And Anne
so it's
Hathaway.
like,
And so you look at that and you go, okay, so if these two are in a movie together, and it's this, it's got to be good. And as we were talking about it, one of our coworkers comes up to us and goes, oh yeah, no, I lived through a school shooting. And I remember turning to you and going, that's why they need a warning label.
yes.
Because people are going to the theater
Oh my God,
and
dude.
not realizing that this is a huge theme of the film and going to get there and be
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
What is this film?
And they push, and the creative choices that they make, like during, it really is just the thing that brings tension to the film. And
is.
it's not like it is the main focus, but like, yes, the warning label needed to be at the beginning of this. Like,
And I
I don't think you needed to, like, it would have spoiled anything. It just needed to be like
No.
sensitive content
Right.
in this.
By the way, even what it was rated R for. Hey, by the way, reference to school shooting. Okay, great.
Yeah.
At least then you know going into it. And I was a lot more critical of it before seeing the movie. Since seeing the movie, they handled it about as well as you can with this topic.
Yes.
A24 in the past has been really good about handling really difficult topics.
It's kind of what they're known for at this point. They tackle pretty much anything at this point, any genre.
Right. Horror especially, they go into all kinds of different things, but with drama and comedy, and it's what they're known for. This was by far their huge swing, and the only thing I want to really fault them for is not disclosing it in any way.
I totally agree.
That's my biggest thing.
Because I didn't know at
Right.
all. Like, when I went into it, I mean, you know, like, I was genuinely shocked. And yes, I guess you could say, like, for just the shock factor and the thriller, and it like made my heart pound, like, and I mean, I'm sure that's what they were going for, but by like marketing it the way they did. But I was genuinely, and the people around me were like shocked, and you were definitely locked in the whole entire time because of how many variables there were. That's the thing, I think, that they had introducing that sort of thing, but then introducing so many other variables around it and then bringing it all together. And that's what your whole entire mind is kind of going through during the whole entire movie. It's like, wait, if this comes together and this comes together and this comes together, what's going to happen? And for me, the level of anxiety, I've never had a movie theater experience happen like that because I just didn't. Usually you have an idea. I mean, we watch trailers all the time now.
Oh, well, we watch trailers 12 times
Yeah, I used to.
we get to see the movie
I used
because
to.
they're in front of every movie we watch.
Exactly. So it's like I used to try and avoid trailers, and I used to try and avoid things, but it's like almost unavoidable now.
We can't.
So Yes, I do think, I guess you could say, because the movie got talked about so much, that maybe like it was a success, but no, for sure there should have been a warning label like before this, because of like they do a good enough job, like you said, on like touching the topic and not going too crazy with it.
And they do it in a respectful enough way, and they do a lot of the sides of the argument. Throughout the film, there's living with the trauma, living with the fact that you were in a place where you thought about doing something horrible, where, I mean, the effect of violence on TV and ideology and all of these things they packed into the film, and, you know, people not getting appropriate therapy and all sorts of these important topics, and they did it in a way that it was done respectfully enough that it's not like some slapstick comedy where they're like, it's a big joke. Like,
it's like they're just throwing it in there just to bring the movie through. No, there was definitely a purpose to it, because now, remembering this, when they really touched on her backstory, on like when she was like going through that phase of her life, the impact of when she did change was like actually like poetic in some ways. Like when they started doing the group therapy like sessions like with the kids, and then they started doing like mental health like awareness stuff like with the kids, getting to know each other, and then seeing like her change, but then like seeing how it impacts Robert Pattinson character, because he never saw all that, or seeing like how it impacted her,
getting to know a completely new version of
it was like very fascinating, and it was just, I was completely shocked by it the whole entire time I was watching the movie.
Right.
And I mean, like, I don't think like it was like when we talked about it before, like I don't think it necessarily, because we were worried about doing this review, but like they did it in a creative enough way where it was not like, I would say, a hindrance on anything.
Well, and I'll say this. I saw it late.
Yeah.
I saw it about a week ago, which was about 3 weeks into its theater run. There were 8, 10, 12 people in my theater.
Yeah. There was like there's 8 to 12 people in my theater as well.
It's not slowed down much.
No.
So for everything that this film is or isn't for the right people or the wrong people, the acting is phenomenal.
Yes.
Zendaya does an amazing job. Pattinson does an amazing job. Their chemistry on screen is an amazing job. And side note, because not many actors do this, especially when they're in romantic movies together, their press tour was one of the most respectful things that I've seen, because they're both married and respecting their partners. And
they were just friends out there.
They were just buddies, and they were like, "Oh, you know, be physical with each other." And Zendaya was like, "Haha, fist bump,"
and like, stuff like that. Yeah.
And that's what like for me, that was one of the like coolest things, because we gave the people on Fantastic Four a really hard time. Pedro especially.
Yeah, that was
she was pregnant. And he's like draping all over her. And I'm like, guys, whoa. I know you're trying to promote your movie, but like this is not cool. And seeing Zendaya and Pattinson, who are at the top of their game and could have only benefited from trying to be a little more flirtatious, when we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Listen, we're great actors. We know what the quality of movie we made. We're here because we're good friends.
Yeah.
And because we worked on the project together. We respect our spouses. And I was like, you know what?
It was funny, dude. There were so many funny moments. Like on their poster where he's like, they talked about Batman or Spider-Man, and then Zendaya just moves her cup like immediately like, all the way. And then Robert has like struggling with the answer. He's like, I don't know. He's like, it would have to be Batman, right? And then it's just cracked me up the whole entire time. But like you said, like that press tour alone, like it kind of got you like thinking about like, okay, this is going to be like the Marriage Story type deal too.
Right.
But then they definitely not. And their performances though, and I think that's what the first 20 minutes like does for me, like they introduce their relationship. They introduce how they're kind of like, it's kind of like a romantic way, but like even then, like the little things, like him like faking that he read the book, for example, like to go meet her.
Right, and even the little moment where he was talking into her deaf ear.
Yeah.
And that being like
the
a
emphasis,
meet cute,
yes.
And like that being a little cute moment, and then after everything's revealed, being
just
like,
ruins everything. And he's looking at his wedding vows and then just deleting everything. And he's like, well, that's a lie. That's a lie. Even like how I introduced myself as a lie. So those first 20 minutes of just being kind of like little cutesy, like he's talking with his best man about, oh yeah, how am I going to do this? How am I going to tell this story? And then their whole entire relationship after she admits that just becoming a lie and how it impacts them and the psychology of it. I think that's the main thing, that it's a psychological thriller more than like anything else.
It really is. And I like that they delved so deep into those things, and they made a point to emphasize those things. And the vulnerability of acting from both Zendaya and from Pattinson in the film elevates that. We talk a lot about movies that benefit and detract from specific actors. One that we haven't reviewed yet, but I'll get ahead of it. The lead actor in The Mummy, the father, worst actor I've seen in 10 years. He's awful. I hope I never see him in another project.
That'll be an interesting.
It'll be an interesting one because we have different thought processes behind it. But one thing we'll probably agree on is
that's what turned me off.
Awful.
The acting
he's
of
awful.
everyone.
But the difference in this movie is that you have two unbelievable actors leading this, and their performances not only individually are great, but bouncing off of each other are so good that all it does is elevate every part of the story. And the cinematography elevates their performances. And the angles, the music, the silence, everything feeds into telling exactly the story they wanted to tell. That even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's chaotic, even though it's all these things, you look at it and you go out leaving going like,
yes. And that's what movies are all about. Like, I mean, like, if I'm like going to be quiet, like the way they told the story, how creative it was. I mean, for example, like it's so like kind of like uncomfortable to talk about, but when they give you that shot of the wedding and everybody is dead. And the whole entire time for the next hour of the movie, and they did like a flickering shot and edit to it, like back to reality into like Robert Pattinson's mind. And that's the thing. The psychological effect it had on Robert Pattinson, I think, like, is insane because he was just...
he was tripping,
he was manic.
Crying,
the shift in his character and his acting was, I have to praise Robert Pattinson completely, and Zendaya as well. But that shot alone, like that creative decision, just makes me think about, like, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? And, spoiler alert, it never happens. So it's like, it takes your, like, my mind when watching the movie the whole entire time is just, like, anxiety level up to, and I have to give credit to a movie because that's creative storytelling. It's like foreshadowing something to you and then just completely... Because there's certain things that just,
Well, and we still got the blow up at the wedding.
Yes.
They did all the foreshadowing. They give you all the anxiety. And then the reason that the wedding blew up was because of Pattinson.
Yes.
Because he went and kissed somebody that he wasn't supposed to. And then the build-up and the uncomfortableness and everything else blew up in a situation where his infidelity was found out while the girl's boyfriend was at the wedding. And that led to a fist fight, which led to awkward speeches, which led to chaos, which led to him leaving with a bruised and bloodied face, Zendaya running out of the wedding, and everything just ending in chaos.
Chaos. And then even the speeches, we could talk about the speeches for days, but you look at Rachel's speech and how she was just like laughing when Zendaya's father was talking about hiding
gun rights activist.
Yes, and gun rights activist hiding the rifle, and then he's like, I don't know where that rifle went, and you're just, oh my god, the whole entire thing was just this massive buildup, and then when they go into the room, and then Zendaya's kind of like having this thing, and she's like, Did you tell her? Like, let's bring her into the room. And you're thinking, oh my god. Like,
as soon as she said, it's okay, I'll go get her, I was like,
I can't.
Leave. I want to leave the theater. I want to not be here.
Genuinely, when she admits that, listen, he came on to me, as soon as she said that, I immediately just turned and go, I've never, like, kind of... It was so disrespectful. I was so loud in the theater, but I go, oh my God. I was...
That's
just...
okay, because there were a couple of, like, 20-somethings down in the row in front of me, and they had exactly the same reaction. There was one girl, and she was like, dude! And I was like, okay, so, but, like, also...
But it's valid.
Like, I get
anybody reacting to that scene is just because the build-up to it is everything. Like, Robert Pattinson's character trying to justify everything, asking people...
Then she continues that conversation with, well, he was talking to me about a hypothetical if somebody had planned a school shooting, and you can see the panic in his eyes.
Yes.
He's like, oh no, she found out that I kissed somebody else, but now she's going to find out that I've been questioning her behind her back to other people, and like...
Oh my God.
The whole thing just melts.
And then... Robert Pattinson's speech, my goodness.
You know what?
Robert
Pattinson's speech is just the worst thing in the world. In fact, I kind of wish...
In a good way.
No, not in a good way. In an awful way. It's like... It's the speech that Ted Mosby got to witness at the wedding where... Marshall is drunk off of his tail.
Oh my God, I can't.
And he's like, this beautiful lady right here is pregnant.
Oh my God.
And Robert Pattinson's looking at Zendaya going like, I don't care if you kill people. And I'm like, you please, like, where's the boyfriend? Come punch him in the face sooner. And
it was crazy. And then he just starts flipping out. And that's what I'm talking about. The acting is so great because, like, you see his breakdown happen, like, the most... unbelievably uncomfortable time.
When she went, no, that's okay, I'm not going to speak, I went, that's smart, that's good.
Yeah,
good for you, thank you. That's the right thing to do.
That's the right thing to do.
And then when Best Man looks over at Robert Pattinson and goes, okay, so I was like,
no.
Read the room.
No.
Hey, no, he doesn't. Look, eyes. He doesn't want to speak. And like, he stood up and he's sweating. And he's manic, and I'm like...
So, yeah, the first time we met, and then,
don't.
Yeah, it was just...
And we have really good sex, and I'm like, oh, whoa! And her dad's sitting right there, and I'm just like...
I couldn't...
If I ever have to go to a wedding that's that uncomfortable, I promise you I'm just standing up and leaving.
Yeah.
I don't care how rude that is. Like, if the groom stands up and goes... sex is really great. I'm just going to be like, all right, and you know what?
It was one of the craziest theater experiences I've ever had. And it just because usually after movies, you know, people are kind of, I wouldn't say like stereotypical. They talk about it, like, oh, it's all right. This, you genuinely have to have a conversation like after it and be like, what did you think about that?
Everybody in my theater got up and immediately turned to the other one and was like, okay, so we got to talk about this.
Yes.
And like everybody was talking about it.
And when I showed up to work, me and Mac instantly were like, have you seen the drama? Even when I went on vacation, people were like, have you seen the drama? And I go, yes. And God.
My brother called me. And was like, you and Brett do that podcast thing, right? And I was like, okay, so first of all, you need to be following us.
Yes.
And second of all, yes, we do that podcast thing. And he's like, movies? And I was like, Trevor. And he was like, yeah, okay. So did you see the drama? And I was like, oh, yeah. And we had this big old long conversation about it.
And it's everything, man. It's for it being like this like psychological thriller and the way they approach like the situation that they talked about, it was really creative, and it was just an absolute like my mind was racing the whole entire time.
It's not a movie I would see again.
No, never.
I don't.
Ever.
I have no interest in rewatching
ever.
It was chaos 100% through. But the story it chose to tell was engaging from start to finish.
Yes.
The last thing before we give our reviews...
The ending.
The ending. So, partway through, after her confession, she sits down on the couch and wants them to pretend they haven't met before. Start over. Because he's having a difficult
Time processing. Are you talking about like
processing.
beginning,
And-
like when
yeah,
she
yeah.
first initially? Yeah.
He's having a difficult time processing and everything else, and he tries it and he goes, this isn't going to work. And he gets up and he storms off.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, everything has been chaos. He's bloodied up. He's got his parka on.
She's walking out.
She's left the wedding.
Yeah.
And he remembers that a couple days ago, she talked about a diner that's open way
Yes.
late at night. And she wants to go to the diner like after prom and get cheeseburgers and fries. He calls her parents. He calls around. He can't find her. And so you know what? Well, first of all, he vomits everywhere. But then he puts on his parka and he goes down to this diner. And he orders a Diet Coke, a burger, and fries. Sits down at a table, gets his number. And she walks through the door. And he's like, hey, listen, and she just ignores him and goes straight to the counter.
Yeah.
Orders her food and comes and sits down. And goes, do you live around here? And they start a conversation like it's brand new.
Yeah. Like it's the first time they met.
It's the first time they've met. And we've talked in here about everything from start to finish for them basically being erased or muddied or whatever with lies and difficulty and all this nonsense. And it depends on where you sit with how the story was told.
Yeah.
But as far as an ending, I think this is the best way you get to, you can't even really call it a satisfying ending, but an ending that makes sense is going, we can't go back,
But all we can do is start over.
but we can start over.
And one scene that I want to talk about, and that like sold me as this is one of Robert Pattinson's clinical, like it's not like his best performance, but it's one of his top performances for sure. Is when that one song that was like super annoying to them when they were practicing their first dance, and then he played it like at their first dance, and then the teacher for some reason was super serious about that was kind of weird. I was like, what is going on
That was
here?
a scene that could have been cut. I didn't need it.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't
like
helpful.
at the same time, I see why they introduced the song. Like that was the only reason why. And then when he's just everything is gone down and he's all bloodied up and he just gets into like the dining room and then he sits at the chair and he plays the song and then he starts dancing to it. I just couldn't like but be like, what the heck is going on right now? And he's like, woo! And he's just dancing. And I was like, this man is putting in a top performance. But yes, I do love it though. I think it's the only way I feel like you can end a movie like this because of how much story is told and how much happens and how much the characters are impacted. And like you said, they hinted at it in the beginning, like after she admits it, she's like, can we just start over? Like, can we just do this? So then after everything that's happened to them, leaving it up to interpretation on like one simple line being like, hello, my name is this. And then he's like literally bloodied up, broken nose and everything. He just goes, oh, we're doing this? And then it just like ends. I think after the wild ride it takes you on, I think it's a satisfying ending for me.
And it reminds me of the last truly chaotic movie that we saw, which was not A24, In the Rose.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch, everything.
Yeah.
Gas moving towards
Didn't
the
expect that
bedroom.
ending.
Didn't expect that ending at all either. Didn't really expect this one. Kind
Yeah.
of just expected it to end in chaos and feel kind of...
Like her running out
Right.
in like the mud and then...
I kind of just expected that to be it. Hey, everybody's unhappy, go home.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that would suck. But like, also...
It makes sense.
It makes sense. What else are you going to do here? This is another one of those, a part of me really wants to know what happened in the long run. But just like The Rose, a part of me is also like, you know what?
Yeah.
I like the open-ended, think whatever you want to think kind of answer for yourself,
I
too.
think this is one of the, like, people do hate, I think sometimes where it's left up to interpretation. I think this is one of the movies where, yeah, it's fine if it's left up to interpretation.
It needed to be left up to interpretation.
Whatever they do after what just happened, I'm not going to really think about it, but I don't know how you survive that. But I mean, if they do, good on them. But man, it was a wild ride the whole entire way through. I don't think I'll ever have a movie theater like experience like that because I don't think the only time you can hide sort of that crazy of a storyline. I mean, like the marketing of it was, I haven't seen anything like that since maybe, like people were talking about Seven, how they didn't, like they hid,
Seven was such an intense movie.
but
That
like
was-
they marketed it and they
See, but
didn't.
here's the thing. Everybody that goes to see the Red Rising TV show that hasn't read the book is going to go through exactly that experience.
Yeah. Oh my god. But no, this movie was crazy. I mean, should we just give our scores? I feel like we've touched on pretty much everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
yeah.
I'm docking it legitimate points for
For the marketing and not
marketing,
giving a warning. Yeah.
Not giving a warning.
Should have given a warning. I mean,
And I'm going to dock it points for rewatchability. There's some movies
You're
that
big
are
on that.
Really, I am. Because here's the thing. We just brought up Seven. Seven's a really traumatic movie. I've watched it since then, though. And there's other really, really difficult movies that have troubling storylines that go through some really difficult stuff, but I'll watch them again. The Pit is one of like my favorite TV shows now, and I was a former EMT, and like half of their patients are exact patients I've treated. I don't know how they're doing it. It's mean, but it's a little traumatic for me to be like, oh.
like the bear, for example, too. Like cooks are like, you do not understand. This is exactly how it is.
Right. And those are traumatic. But
I'd
it's
rewatch
so good
I'd rewatch it.
that I'd rewatch it. I'd go back to
feel
it
you.
again. And this one is not, like we both said, I'm good. Listen, once was enough.
No.
So it's going to get a 7.5 for me. Zendaya did an amazing job. Pattinson did an amazing job. The storytelling was
Creative.
disgustingly creative and electric and chaotic and just
Nuts.
nuts the whole way through.
The way they introduced elements and they just kind of like almost sat on them and like kept the tension going and you saw it just break down the characters so much. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
And because it truly is one of the craziest things I've ever watched. And I'm not going to rewatch it ever. I'm not a big, like, I understand, like, your take on, like, rewatchability 100%. But, like, Requiem a Dream, for example, like, that's, like, my big argument. I would never watch that. I will never watch that movie again. I will never. But at the same time, I'm going to give that movie, like, a 9.5 because of how great it is. I mean, it's probably Jared Leto, in my opinion, Jared Leto's best performance as an actor. And that's saying something because
Wait. Saying something? Jared Leto doesn't have like a huge filmography of amazing performances.
No, I know, but like, yeah, I mean,
Sorry, Jared Leto. We like you in some things. You did all right in Tron Ares. It's just the rest of that movie sucked.
yeah,
We talked about that already.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I think just the creativity of it. You know me, I'm a sucker for good creative choices, and I think there's like moments that we didn't touch on, but when, for example, like him telling like Robert Pattinson's like thought process, and when they introduce her as a little girl, but then like it's like they're adults and they're trying to kind of like walk things off. They're having this romantic walk, and it's like her as a kid, and then they're like walking towards like the port and the bridge and stuff, and like they're just he's like trying to deal with it. Like those creative decisions for me were just, it brought it up for me to like an 8.5. I do think the marketing probably should have been better, and they should have given a warning because obviously it's a very sensitive topic, and they do push the boundary of it like to its brink. But man, the thrilling storytelling, you know, how they bring everything together and have this just one chaotic moment. And we didn't even touch on it, but the DJ, God.
And I'm still not going to touch on the DJ.
When that happened and he pulls the bridge, that was unreal.
There's too much to go over in this movie.
Really?
It's all like,
that whole entire like last 30 minutes for me is just
it's nuts.
But yeah, I give it an 8.5. And it was a It was a great performance from Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. They really did carry this movie. I thought the editing and creative storytelling was good, but yeah, it's an 8.5, and like it was just unreal. I'm still kind of like looking back on it. I'm like putting myself into the theater again, and I mean the anxiety I had the whole entire way was just unreal.
Well, good news. You've got some much easier and a couple difficult ones coming up, but some much easier.
Whatever.
Michael is going to be awesome. I've seen it already, so excited to talk about that
Yeah,
one.
I mean, people have been talking about, oh yeah, like it doesn't tell the whole story of his career. Guess what?
Not worried about that.
All I want to see is the rise, baby. I'm one of those people where it's like biopics.
Yeah,
But
Barney Stinson.
apparently people didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody. I loved it. I mean, give me everything like of that.
Save this
biopic.
for Michael. We'll get to biopics and stuff because we kind of tore apart the last biopic that we saw.
Yeah, it's just one freaking.
Yeah, I know. Listen, we'll get there. Devil Wears Prada 2 because Anne Hathaway is in fact on the rise again, as if she was ever on the fall. A24's next installment with Backrooms because that looks fantastic.
When does Hugh Jackman's Robin Hood come out?
This summer. So
I'm hyped about that.
Excited about that one too. Hokum looks good, and then of course we've got Superhero Summer.
Yeah.
I mean that's not.
We will
very far
talk
right
about
around the
Daredevil
corner.
at some point. I don't even think it matters
Oh.
when we talk about it. I mean, we will.
Sorry,
even
2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing Superhero Central because we'll do Daredevil, we'll do Invincible,
The Punisher.
and The Punisher, and The Boys, which, by the
Yeah.
way, we figured out has a theater release for the season finale, and will be in the theaters
Yes.
to watch Homelander destroy the Earth, maybe.
I do love how they play violin music every time he's losing his mind. I'm like, okay, that's just a great creative touch that will never.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fantastic.
Eric Kripke
I do
does a
see
fantastic
I do
job.
see the memes like going around, and I'm just laughing
Dude,
so hard.
The memes are good, but lots of exciting things coming up here in the near future.
We're in summer, man. This is gonna be good. We went through like kind of a lull there, where I mean, I know it was like
It
March,
was okay movies,
March and April,
but like man,
but there was
May,
nothing
June,
where
July.
we did try and like see everything, but it was like I think we saw everything that mattered.
The highlight for that short period of spring, Hoppers. Hoppers was definitely my highlight. For
Really?
that.
Yeah.
For me, that was like the best movie to come out of the bunch. I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I loved the. I don't know why people didn't like it, but I really did love the Glenn Powell movie with A24. And
I haven't seen it. I'll watch.
I know because
It was in theaters for like 4 days.
I know.
Oh my God. It's
That
not
was
my
ridiculous.
fault. I tried.
Well, Project Hail Mary was.
Oh, duh. Sorry. Project Hail Mary, way below at number 2, Hoppers, and then,
Yeah.
everything else.
Like, that's what I was thinking. I actually was thinking about, like, all the stuff that's came out in the spring, and, like, realistically, if you do think about, like, Project Hail Mary was...
Project Hail Mary is still in theaters, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
I need to go see it a second time. I might go see it today. I might just go see that and Michael back-to-back. Who knows?
Sure. Inspiring movie. You're going to be in theaters for a while.
I know. I need to...
It's like 5 hours
I
in
should
theaters.
change. I changed my mind. All right, this was good.
Yeah.
To the drama.